lovely people, welcome to the channel. We got some Johnny Depp news, right? So, it's been a while. We've covered a lot of Johnny over the years after 2022, but then things went a little bit slower. So it's interesting to check some of the Johnny's news. Not necessarily this one, but also I was checking also some of the videos that I post about him performing at Patty's Meat last night for a celebration of our career, I think. So anyway, Cory Feldman, the guy that was in the Goonies, like probably everybody remembers of my age, claims that Johnny Depp got him fired from one of the early movies that Depp was on, which was What's Eating Gilbert's Grape. He said that particularly he was already cast before Johnny was. So I already read the article, so I make it short for you. In '93, he was cast for the role of Leonardo DiCaprio, and apparently Johnny Depp was cast afterward. And when he came in, he said that Johnny Depp whispered in the ear of the production that he wasn't really fond of working with junkies, and therefore, pushed him out of the project. So Johnny Depp Feldman answered, he was cast after I was, and apparently whispered into the producer's ears that he wasn't fond of me and thought he said that I was a junkie and it didn't work with junkies. And this is the first time I'm ever telling this story, so I'm sure I'm gonna get hung by this one. Feldman was already a popular star at the time thanks to the role of Goonies. You know what? DiCaprio, alright. This part is interesting, sorry. Feldman was already a popular star for the Goonies, said, I had just gotten sober, I just gotten out of rehab, I had turned my life around, and in fact, I was trying to help River Phoenix at the time, who Depp was running with, as we all know. As you can imagine, there was a bit of a thorn in the side on that one, and I had not been pushed out of that role. Who knows what would have happened from that point forward. So, it's interesting to hear those things because there is, of course, no representative has come forward to say whether or not this story is true. Probably nobody will, because sounds like kind of not really what happened. But yeah, according to Feldman, the role Ernie was the first of two times he lost out on a role to DiCaprio. The other was Titanic, although it was never in serious contention for James Cameron blockbuster. Ironically, just a couple of years later, I also was up for Titanic, so there was kind of a double banger with Leo, he said. But that was okay because that one I wasn't as close. I was up for it. I read for it. I know that I was in the contention somewhere. Well, if you read the thing, then there's probably another 10 better actor in front of you that probably are up for the role. You cannot really make that comparison. Well, frankly, I don't know. At the moment, I'm not just going to say much about this. I find it strange that this guy waited 40 plus years or 40, 30 years or so to come out with, 35 years to come up with the story that Johnny Depp said this and that. I think Johnny Depp at the time wasn't particularly sober. So if anything, probably would have understood people, let's say, going in that direction somehow. I don't think would have been, what I'm trying to say, I don't think that the fact that he wasn't sober, right, could have been a reason for not working with him. And if such a case, if such a thing was true, perhaps there were other reasons. I mean, if Johnny really spoke to the producer, said, hey, listen, I don't want to work with this guy, it might be true. I'm not saying it cannot be true, but perhaps the motives were others, and the guy is basically not being fully honest with himself or what probably was bringing to the table. So this is just one side of the story, so can be completely fabricated or not fully the truth, I have to say. I find it amusing, but yeah, early days. We'll see if there is someone else of that set on that movie that will come forward telling us something about this story or not. At the time, right now Johnny Depp is just busy going around being a musician. The movie Modigliani is out in Spain. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious to know what you think about this. Do you think this story is real? Do you think it's just another trying to get some attention because we still talk about Johnny, right? And hopping on the Johnny Depp wagon, so to speak, in this way, it brings a little bit of attention to somebody that otherwise we wouldn't be talking about. And this guy is no stranger to controversial claim. Yeah, so I'll leave it at that. Please subscribe.